So what we're going to do here is I have Kent, JR, and Chris under the Big Ten midseason predictions. We are going to go place by place, rank, and we'll start with Kent, then we'll go with me, then we'll go with Chris, and we'll just kind of snake it, go down and around like that, and we'll just one at a time give who we have at the very beginning of or at the top, and then go all the way down to the bottom. So Kent, go ahead and surprise us with the number one pick, because everybody is so wondering what you're going to pick to be the number one team at the end of the season.
I mean, it's definitely Purdue. Let's be honest. Let's be real. I think that the only team, I still believe this. I said this at the beginning of the year, and I'm glad that they've proven me kind of right this week. I think the only team that could give them any pressure is Michigan State. And I'm not confident enough to put them ahead of Purdue. So Purdue's number one at the end of the year.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm going to go ahead and move that over. There we go. Purdue for Kent, Purdue for me. I agree. Zach Edey, Braden Smith, Fletcher Ward, even if they drop a game or two, I feel like it's going to be so competitive with everybody else that Purdue's just going to eventually pull away and win this one. So, Chris, I know our resident Purdue fan.
Yeah.
You are going to be very hard to gauge here on what you're picking.
Yeah, I definitely, I bet it's going to be difficult, but yeah, it's going to be Purdue.
Yeah, that's what I would think. You got any reason for it, or you?
I think it's just, they're just the most complete team in the conference. I just don't see, especially like I said, if Braden and Fletcher continue to play the way they have, especially Fletcher, he's shooting like a ridiculous amount when it comes to playing top 5 teams. Out of like the top 10 scoring against top 5 KenPom teams, Fletcher has like 2 of the highest games or something like that. Like it's some astronomical number. I saw it on Twitter the other day. I'm probably butchering that all to bits, but I just don't see how because that was the detriment to Purdue last year, was they just couldn't hit outside shots. Now they're leading the Big Ten of 3-point percentage. Yeah. I think that's just going to be big. And Lance Jones brings an aspect of the team that Purdue didn't have last year. Lance Jones, Cam Heide, and Miles Colvin, the athleticism that they bring, that they can just turn it on and just start running up and down the court. Their pace is a lot better. I think it just kind of makes sense to me.
I agree. I really like Miles Colvin. All right, who's your second team, Chris?
Oh, I don't know. This is what like one makes sense, and then everybody else is difficult. Like, part of me says Illinois, because they just kind of have I think that they have the pieces there, to do good things. It's just now I'm worried about consistency. If they can do it every night and things like that, I think that they could fight to get into that, that double bye section of the Big Ten tournament. So I'm going to go with Illinois.
All right, we'll go with Illinois. They're second. I'm actually going to do the same. I think Illinois. I just think they're too talented to not be second or at least third. I know that, like I said, they kind of have their deficiencies with their inconsistencies at time. However, I think that if I'm picking the team that I think will play, it has the highest ceiling to play the best, I think it's Illinois. So I'm going to pick them to be second. Ken, who's your second team?
I'll surprise it. I'll make it a little bit interesting here. I'll take Wisconsin second. I like the win that they already got at Michigan State, and with from the window to the crawl to the wall. I love those two guys, and I love saying that, even though it doesn't even make sense with the concept of the song. But I like those two guys. I like their offense. AJ Storr is awesome, so I'll take Wisconsin second. That's not bad. Number three, I'm still going to not choose Illinois quite yet. I'm going to put the guys I was just talking about, Michigan State, at 3. Just for the reasons I just talked about, and then we can keep it moving, I guess.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go with Wisconsin at number 3 for a lot of the same reasons. And mostly just the experience and, guys who are playing together. I think Chucky Hepburn is playing within his role a lot better this season, and I think that's been really, really good for them. So I think that they'll get to number 3. Chris, who is your number 3 team?
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was going with Wisconsin as well.
All right, Chris and I are twins right here.
I know, right?
Who's your number 4 team, Chris?
I'm going to say Michigan State. I think that they are starting to kind of figure it out. And definitely that Baylor game seemed like it. But again, I want to see more consistency. And I think that's a big issue with probably 12 of the 14 teams in the Big Ten right now, is there's just not a lot of consistency with their play time in and time out.
Yeah, I agree. I am going to surprise a few people here and be a little bit of a homer, but I'm going to go with Ohio State at number 4. I am praying that this happens. I don't know if this will actually happen, but I'm praying that Chris Holtmann gets the offense together and gets them to play enough defense, and that we don't go on the terrible January run that makes me want to stop watching basketball for the rest of the season. Kent, what are your thoughts on number 4?
I'll take. I want this to look interesting when you put this graphic out. So I think that the 4, 5, and 6 teams are all really close to each other, for me at least. And those 3 teams for me are Illinois, Northwestern, and Ohio State. So I'm going to put Northwestern at 4. I think that those 3 teams are pretty even. So I'll just for the interest level, I'll put it at number 4, because I think that they're all pretty much the same, 4 through 6 for me. I do think that there's a big gap after number 6, though.
I agree. Who you got for number 5 then, if they're close?
I'll take Ohio State at 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you'll believe in my Buckeyes for me. So
plus I just want to make everybody from Illinois upset. That's that's just going to be fun for me.
I'm actually going to take Northwestern at number 5. I know they lost to Chicago State, but they did beat Purdue. So, again, this is me kind of going with the ceiling of the team. I think Boo Buie is very good if he can kind of find that consistent scoring. And I think that they have some good passers down low as well. So I like that part about Northwestern. Chris, who do you have at number 5?
It's very close to me between Ohio State and Northwestern. I think I'm going to go with Ohio State, though. I just think that their ceiling, as weird as it sounds, because we lost to Northwestern, which Northwestern will be my 6. But I think that they have a better long-term. That Chicago State game just really kind of sets a bad taste in my mouth, even though it sets a bad taste in my mouth for a couple of reasons, because Purdue against Northwestern was sold out of standing room only. And then when they played against Chicago State, it was like a funeral. Like there was nobody there. And it was very weird. And I think that's a big dynamic of it, is that, like, how's this team going to play on the road in Big Ten season? How's this team going to play in the Big Ten tournament when they're not at home, or something like that? Just what are they going to do to drive themselves to play well and kind of find that fire within themselves?
Yeah, that's going to be a huge question for them. All right, my number 6 team, I am going to go a little bit off here. Where are they at? Why can't I find them? There they are. I'm going to go with Nebraska. I really, really like what they have down low. I think that, Kasai Tamanaga is a wonderful player to watch. I don't think he's as much of the star of this team as maybe he was at the beginning of the season. I think Juwan Gary and Rick Mast are really, really good players down low. They make a lot of good things happen for this team. And so I like for Nebraska to be able to compete well with those big men. Kent, who's your number 6?
I'll take Illinois now at 6.
I can hear Twitter burning up already.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Number 7, I'll take it's like all like just a flip of the coin at this point. I'll take Indiana at 7.
Okay. I got too many red teams.
They're all the same. Like, I mean, it's funny you're mentioning that they all look the same because they're all red, but like all the rest of the teams are basically like the same.
I'll make their font white. There we go. So that'll help.
Nice.
With Indiana. Nice. Let's see. My number 7 team. I'm going to go with Indiana. I like Khalil Ware. I like this team for different parts of it. I was impressed with the way they played against Kansas for like the first, what was it? Not last 5 minutes. Other than that, so I thought it was an interesting game. So I'll take a bit of a wild card there with you, Kent, and go with Indiana number 7. Chris, who's your number 7 team?
I think I'm going to go with Rutgers. I like Rutgers, and just kind of, I know that's really oddball, but they're always just that state, the rack or whatever, Popeye's Chicken Arena or whatever it's called now, is like, that is just such a, and coming from Purdue, like that home court advantage is such a big deal that I think Rutgers will do well coming into into Big Ten season. I think they're going to do decent. Next, I'm probably going to say IU, but I really want to rank them lower after the monstrosity they had against Morehead State last night, only beating them by 1 point. Because that team is falling into the same thing that every Indiana team does. If they can't hit threes, they just run around in circles, chuck up a shot, and hope to God it works. It's just, I don't know why they keep doing that, but it just seems to be going that way.
The Mike Woodson way.
Yeah, they need to find a map.
Yeah. I will finally go with Michigan State here. I predicted they would not make the tournament earlier in the year. So in order to make that happen, I feel like they have to be at least 8th. So I will cave to the pressure at number 8 and put them there. Kent, what are your thoughts on number 8?
Let's see. I'll go Nebraska next. And then oh man. It gets yucky after that.
It does. We just
I think
I'm the teams that are all already used.
I have it marked off right here, but I think I think I'm going to take Michigan next. I know that they've got a lot of losses so far, but most of them have been within. I mean, take the Texas Tech game out; they lost that by 16. Everything else has been fairly close against some pretty good teams. I mean, Memphis and Indiana-ish. I mean, and then they did go on the road and beat Iowa already, so I think that they should be at least good for 9th place at this point. I don't know. Maybe not.
At least 9th. Yeah, I think Michigan is a good pick there. However, I am going to go with not that one. Rutgers at number 9. I agree. I think the home court advantage for them is good. And I think Steve Pikiell's a good coach and he can get this team to win some Big Ten games.
And they're recruiting really well. I know this doesn't really affect now, but man, they are doing really good in the recruiting realm lately.
They are.
For me, I'm going to go Nebraska at this one. I don't want to disrespect Nebraska too much because they are already at 9th. And honestly, Nebraska is one that could get a double bye in the Big Ten tournament and would not surprise me. And again, like we've mentioned, it's a hot and cold, like one day they could do really well and beat anybody, and next day they can't, they'd screw up a free lunch. So it's just, it's just trying to figure it out. After that, probably stuck between Penn State and Minnesota.
Penn State?
Minnesota.
Yeah, Penn State. I like Penn State. I think that they are going to get it turned around come Big Ten season, and just kind of start to piece it together, especially because there's not a lot of parity between, say, about 4 to 14. So I think they're going to beat some people they shouldn't, especially at home. I think they're going to kind of get pieced together. I don't know why, just a hunch.
Yeah. Well, Mike Rhodes is a good coach. He can get them going. I'm actually going to go with Michigan here at number 10, right after Rutgers. I think Juwan Howard has too much talent to not be at least 10th. Kent, who's your number 10 team?
I'm going to go Minnesota right there at number 10. And follow that up with number 11, Iowa. And pass it right back to you. We'll keep it moving.
All right, very good. Yeah, no, I think Iowa is a good choice there as well. I think that another team who is also talented is Maryland. Julian Reese, Jameer Young. They got to figure something out eventually. I know we just had a discussion about them that wasn't exactly too positive, but they got to figure something out eventually. So, Chris, your thoughts on number 11?
I think I'm going to go Minnesota and then Iowa. I think Iowa's offense is going to keep them in a lot of games, but man, they got to figure out what defense looks like.
That's always the case with the Fran Brown.
Man.
Fran Brown? Yeah. Not Fran Brown. McCaffrey. Fran Brown is the Syracuse coach, and I've been talking about Kyle McCord too much. So, yes, I agree with Iowa at 12. That's where I'm going to have them. Kent, your thoughts on number 12?
Oh man, all the way back to me already. I just don't believe in. I don't believe in Rutgers as much as you guys do. So I'm going to put Maryland ahead of them, and then Rutgers at number 13, which leaves Penn State left. If you want to just fill it out, I guess.
Sure.
I don't like Penn State at all.
Really?
They haven't shown me anything yet.
Yeah,
I don't love what they're doing at all.
I feel like I have to go with Penn State at 13, just so that way, the Ohio State loss when they gave up 18, an 18-point lead doesn't look too bad. It still looks bad, but it makes me feel better than at 14th. And then my last team to put in there is Minnesota. Chris, your last two teams?
Was it Michigan and Maryland?
Oof.
Yeah, I don't like Maryland at all. I think I feel about Maryland the way you guys feel about Penn State. Yeah. I just don't like anything about them. I don't the body language worries me.
Yeah,
from what I've seen out of them, because they are very they are hanging their heads a lot. They're kind of just being weird. I don't know. I just don't like them.
I think from 9 down, and we all kind of have it mixed up a little bit with a few certain teams. 9 down, I feel like that's going to just shuffle out any which way. I think 8 up, you're going to be pretty consistent on those teams in there, but 9 down, those are going to kind of just shake out any which way. It'll be interesting to see. So.
Listen to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.